Today we're going to talk about, do you owe your employer a disclosure? So if you have epilepsy, what do you say? How do you say it? Do you owe them anything? Well, no, you don't owe them anything. You don't owe anybody a disclosure about anything about yourself ever, really. Well, that's my opinion. But is it a good idea? Sometimes. I think timing and the context of the disclosure is really what is the most important aspect of this whole thing. So I'm going to give you some examples. Uh, my first example, I had a job years ago working construction, and the general contractor, did not know I had epilepsy. All he knew was, here's this guy in his mid-20s in good shape, and I could use him on my crew, and he needs a job. I'm going to ask him if he wants a job. I went to the gym with this guy, and yeah, I needed it. And this was like during the recession. So hell yeah, I took it right away. And I loved that job. It's cool. I don't know if any of you out there have had a job working construction, but it's extremely gratifying. I mean, you're outside, and at the end of every day, it's like a hard job, but at the end of every day, you get to see literally what you've built. Like, you put a roof on a house, you put a floor on a house, like literally, like you built a whole floor on a house, or you sided a house or something. It's just cool. You installed windows. Um, Something about it is it's just so not abstract. It's great. But I knew this was not the best idea. I was taking really good care of myself at the time. I was really stable, but it's still extremely dangerous. I mean, when you're roofing or siding, I mean, if I were to have a seizure and fall, there was a high likelihood I could have died, and an even higher likelihood, like very serious injury. And I eventually told him, because I found out that when he was younger, he fell. His whole his specialty was roofing, um, and I guess when he was in his 20s, something happened. He fell, and then for the rest of his life, he had to live with this disability. I wasn't aware of it for a while, but so I just thought, I got to tell him, and I was kind of bummed about it. And yeah, he was disappointed too, but he was understanding. I also didn't want to tell him because he was a pretty intimidating guy, but that's another story. uh, and he had me doing like some administrative stuff and like running errands and like picking up supplies and doing stuff like that. And I just thought, like, this isn't what I want to do, so I'm going to move on. So yeah, in that context, honestly, that probably wasn't just that. I mean, sure, that required a disclosure, but I also knew like that was not the job for me, period. So the next job I had was, I got a corporate job. I didn't tell anybody about it then either. And I thought, well, I really don't need to. It's not like I'm really in danger at this like really nice desk or cubicle during the day or whatever. Um, and even if we would like go out after work and like get drinks, I was still drinking at the time. I didn't tell anyone. Um, but on one occasion, so I was commuting to work. I was on Metro North heading into Grand Central Terminal, and I started to feel kind of dizzy. And I'm not the kind of, I normally don't get an aura. I don't know when my seizures are going to happen. But I thought maybe this is it. Maybe this is the time. So I get off the train and I'm walking through the terminal, and like that feeling never went away. So I walked over to a wall, and I like leaned up against it and like slid down it, and I waved over a cop, and I'm like, I need help. I told him what was going on. I said, I have epilepsy. I don't know if I'm going to have a seizure or what's going on. And I texted my boss, my manager. I told her what was happening. If anything, she was more concerned. Um, I took a couple of days off. I didn't have a seizure, thank God. But yeah, in that context, it didn't really matter. Also, I wasn't in like a position where I was managing people. Like I didn't have a team. I wasn't responsible for like a project. Um, I was just like a worker, you know, so they could afford, or I could afford also, like for that to happen. Maybe if I had larger responsibilities, I might have had like a backup plan or something, or made people more aware. Recently, like a couple years ago, I was working in a retail space. It's kind of like a warehouse space, and that was going well. And I didn't tell them either until they wanted me to start um, using forklifts and lifts and getting on ladders and doing this other stuff. And then I said, "Oh, I can't do that." And let me tell you why. And to them, it was like that made perfect sense. Okay, yeah, John can't do this. And so basically, what they did was actually sent me to like another department, and I got another role that was just like more for me. That just worked more for my situation. Yeah, so I wasn't afraid of ever like losing a position or losing my job, but I'll tell you what, I did end up having several seizures during that period. Um, and I did lose the job, but that's only because I didn't have them at work. But that's because, as some of us know out there who have epilepsy, and if you get, you know, I have tonic-clonic grand mal seizures, uh, they're extremely traumatic and they take a long time to recover from. So, unfortunately, I had to go. And that's happened a few times. But do you owe anyone a disclosure? No. Is it a good idea? Yeah. I think it just depends on the context, depends on what you're doing. I think you should also choose your job, your work accordingly. Yeah, and also just take care of yourself as best as possible in order to prevent them so you don't even have to run into this issue. And one more thing, I also the people that I shared this with at work were like they were kind of like the people I trusted the most. I didn't just go to anyone. So also keep in mind like who you share this with um, in the workspace. You know, you can kind of get a feel for who's going to be more open and more warm and more inviting, more accepting than some other people. But yeah, that's that.